the royal patronage of Her Majesty the Queen. So now let me give you some ideas about the schedule. Today, half-day schedule. So it will be from 9 until 12 until noon. So 3 hours, very short time. So make sure that all participants and both international and in Thailand get benefit from these 3 hours. So I welcome everyone to Thailand and to Kasetsart University where this webinar is hosted. The first from 9 to 9, about 9:10 is opening speech by Dr. Saranya Pheuekphong, the Thai Home Economics Association President. She also Executive Committee member for Southeast Zone, Arahe. After that will be introduction of 3 speakers. Then there will be the first keynote speaker, followed by the second keynote speaker from the first one from the United States of America, and the second one from Japan, and the third one from Thailand. I just give you a brief one because I saw Dr. Saranya is on screen now. So let's start by welcoming opening speech. Welcome Dr. Saranya Pheuekphong, the Thai Home Economics Association President, and also the Arahe Executive Committee member for Southeast Zone. Welcome, Dr. Saranya.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and all distinguished guests. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. It is undeniable that the most important things in developing the country and creating a sustainable society is by developing human resources development in terms of rights and equality. Its various aspects is very crucial and sometimes is more important than economic development. Therefore, the policy in developing human resources at the global, regional, and national level have been set up and implemented continuously. At present, almost every country around the world has established the human resources development policy to support the policy of Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, initiated by the United Nations. This is because quality human resources would lead to the success of other aspects of development. Consequently, if we all want to achieve the objective of Sustainable Development Goals, it is compulsory to develop the human resources around the world to have the best qualifications by having knowledge and the ability to autonomously develop themselves. Therefore, they can make a good living and financial stability and can also protect the environment. All of these things could be done with cooperation from everybody, and all activities must be done under the principles of harmonious and peaceful living with no discrimination. One of the field in the home economics discipline is family resources development and the development of all ages. Actually, the teaching of home economics, which is practiced in almost every country, includes a variety of activities that promote life and occupational skills. Therefore, home economics is the discipline that nurture human being to be happily self-dependent, create good living conditions, and have good quality of life in the personal, family, organizational, social, and national levels. Therefore, home economists have to be aware that home economics is a discipline that plays a truly important role in driving all countries around the world to achieve 5 main objectives of the Sustainable Development Goals, which are people, prosperity, peace, partnership, and planet. This would result in the world population living together happily, securely, prosperously, and sustainably. This webinar is organized with the objectives of fostering knowledge management and setting up academics and professional network for home economists and other related fields. More importantly, it is to empower all home economists, both at the national and international levels, to build up a stronger network among themselves. This webinar is our first international webinar of the Thai Home Economics Association under the royal patronage of Her Majesty the Queen. The association is honored to have 3 experts in the field of human resources development as our keynote speakers in the event today. All 3 of them are definitely famous and well-known both at the national and international levels. They are Professor Dr. Teresa McDavid from the University of Northern Colorado, United States. Professor Yukiko Kudo from Yokohama National University, Japan. She also be Vice President of Asian Regional Association for Home Economics. And Dr. Jongrak Vacharinrat, the President of Kasetsart University, Thailand. And today, the association is honored from Associate Professor Dr. Chittinan Deshakup as our moderator in this webinar today. Her background just brief. Associate Professor Dr. Chittinan Deshakup is former Dean, School of Human Ecology, Sukhothai Thammathirat Open University. She graduated in the field of human development and family study with research honor from Iowa State University, United States. She served as academic consultant to many government offices in the field of child, youth, and family development. Her research studies have done in the area of child and family well-being. Ladies and gentlemen, and all distinguished guests. I hope that this international webinar today will offer knowledge and information which can be applied to practice use. Now the floor is your Associate Professor Dr. Jitinan Deshakub. Thank you very much for everybody.
So, since she already introduced me, thank you so much for this opportunity to be with all the international and Thai participants. So we're gonna be just give you a brief of introduction of our three guest speakers for today. ใช้เลยได้ค่ะ introduction นะคะ actually I should say welcome to Thailand to all speakers first and all the participants to this webinar. Thailand is a beautiful country and now we open for everyone to come safety just maybe I don't know how much time but we will go on for Dr. Suranya is already there. So we will go on for introducing you, Dr. Professor Dr. Teresa McDavid. Her professional background, she's a professor emerita in psychology sciences at the University of Northern Colorado. She received her doctoral and master degree in child development from Stanford University's Psychological Studies in Education program and educational evaluation from Stanford University and a bachelor degree of art in psychology from University of California, Santa Cruz, with a year as an exchange student at Trinity College, Dublin, Ireland. Her research focuses on child development, families, and teacher education, and is published in Child Development, Learning and Individual Differences, Child Study Journal, Muriel Palmer Quarterly, Youth and Society and Science Education. Among others, her book, Child Development and Education, with her honor co-author Jean Omrod and published by Pearson, is now in its 7th edition. Wow. Actually, I used to study this when I was in the United States too. She has served the University of Northern Colorado in a variety of capacities in teaching courses in child psychology, human development, educational psychology, program evaluation, and research methods, advertisement of graduate students, university governance and research and grant writing. A lot of her experiences. She has been university leadership in several areas, and she gained extensive practical experience with children, including by raising up to children with her husband and working as an early childhood teacher of toddlers and preschool children. So she's, I think, really expertise in early childhood education as well as child development. She has been honored for faculty citizenship by the American Association for Higher Education. She received funding from the National Science Foundation, was recipient of Research Award by the International Listening Association, and has received as our keynote speaker today. Second keynote speaker is from Japan, Dr. Yukiko Kudo. She is a former professor of Yokohama National University. Her background is in also both in Japan and also in the United States. Her bachelor degree is in home economics, master degrees in home economics at the Okanomizu University, and her graduate school is in San Francisco State University in the area of gerontology. And she also got her doctoral degree major in sociology at Chiba University, Japan. Her professional career also very professional. She's a research assistant at the Okanomizu University, senior researcher in research advisor, International Longevity Center, Japan, and also working as an associate professor, Matsushino University, before she became associate professor at Yokohama National University, as well as professor here at Yokohama National University. Now she is a vice president of the Japan Association of Home Economics Education and also Asian Regional Association for Home Economics. Now she is vice president of International Federation for Home Economics. Welcome, Professor Yukiko Kudo. Very grateful for your attendance today. The last one, not so far in Thailand, Dr. Jongrak Wacharinrat. He is the president of Kasetsart University, where the webinar is hosted. He got doctoral degree in forestry, as well as his master and bachelor degree. His international working experiences, so many. He's also have experience in the University Consortium Chief Executive Officer for the Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture, which namely SIACA. And he also a board of director, World Vegetable Center, board of trustee, the Center for People and Forest, and governing board, Simeo Biotrop. So we can see that many experiences. And he also served in the area of agriculture and biological sciences, environmental science, engineering, medicine, energy, computer sciences, business management, and accounting, biochemistry, genetics, and molecular biology. So many areas of research. Before he taking up his current position as a president of Kasetsart University since the year 2020, he had served in a number of administrative roles at Kasetsart University as acting president, as dean of the Faculty of Forestry, as head of the Civil Culture Department. So many administrative experiences. So this is all our excellent keynote speakers today. We are so fortunate to have all the speakers with us. And I would like from here to start with the presentation of Professor Dr. Teresa McDavid on the topic the importance of early childhood education in contemporary context. Welcome, Dr. Teresa. Please.
Everyone can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. And I also would like to share my PowerPoint slides, so to make my screen available. And I'm checking to see if you can still hear me. Hello?
Professor Teresa, do you want our staff to share the presentation for you?
Yes,
Okay.
Are you
We can-
able to see my screen?
Yes, I have. We have already shared. The authorized to share. You to share the screen right now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Can you see the my title page?
Right now, not.
All right. It is on my screen. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear your voice clearly, but I didn't see any
You cannot
presentation.
you can
Yes.
see my slides.
Yes.
I wonder if Naruman has a suggestion.
Our staff can share. Yes. This is your slide.
Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Right now, it is everything complete.
All right. I'll begin now.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes. So thank you very much, Dr. Sarunya.
Professor Teresa, could you please open your camera, please?
Yes. All right. Are you able to see me now?
Yes, everything complete right now. You can start right now.
Thank you. I apologize for the delay, but I'm very honored to be here this morning. You have a topic that is very important to me, very important to Thailand, Japan, and the world. So I'm going to be emphasizing mental health issues and looking at contemporary contexts affecting children and the education, and support in families that we can provide. So I'm going to be focusing on trends in society that have the potential to influence children and the implications of these for education. My discipline, and thank you for the generous introduction, Dr. Chittenden. My focus is, as a psychologist, is child development and education. And I'm currently working on the 8th edition of my book in this area, and appreciate the chance to talk about my field. So within the field of child development, which overlaps quite a bit with home economics, we consider children and families to be very dynamic systems. So when we think about how current events in societies are influencing children, what we find are influences both within the child and in their relationships in society. So within children, current events affect their cognition, so their learning and thinking and memory, also their social emotional lives, so their emotional feelings, their bonds to other people, their relationships, how they deal with difficult emotions like anger and disappointment and fear. And their physical development is also affected by current events in terms of their growth patterns, how their genes are expressed, and their health and well-being. So I talked about those 3 facets of children as if they're separate, but in fact, they're very much intertwined. And we can see that if you look at the intersection among the circles, we see right now many children being under a fair amount of stress. And that has to do with uncertainty, with their loss of routines, and so forth, and their fears about getting sick. And so those are all influenced by that intertwining of their physical growth, their intellectual, and their social emotional lives. So as children are systems, they're also part of very complicated systems. They interact, of course, with their families, and their families are most important in getting them off to a good start in life. But also the educators, professionals in the community, and if you see the exterior circles, they're also affected by more remote, more abstract things. Their government, science, technology, and social services. Also, as we think about current events that might affect children, we have to get a little more concrete and consider, well, what have they learned thus far? How old are they? What stages in development are they? And are they making a transition, such as starting school, graduating from high school? Some of the research suggests that the COVID pandemic is especially difficult for students who their last 2 years of high school in the United States, they'd be about age 17 and 18, given uncertainties in their lives and where they might be going in their careers. And personal factors are really important in terms of how children are affected by current events. So what have they acquired? What are the assets, the relationships, the good things in their lives, and how have they learned to cope? Those are personal factors and very much affect their response to current events. So with that bit of background, let's think about, well, what are some of the big trends in society that affect children? Here's an important list from the United Nations, from UNICEF. And I think if you look at that list, it will resonate with you when you think about effects on children. The family structure changing over time. In some areas, such as the United States, with smaller families and two parents working, children are directly affected by that. Globalization, climate change, the digital world, and you can see that in any shopping mall, in many places around the world, as you find parents might be paying more attention to their cell phones than to the children in their care. And then the children themselves very quickly enter that digital world. So we will be studying that for years to come. Migration, immigration, changes in employment, and sadly, less welfare, less support in some communities. That's a big list from UNICEF, and I don't have time to talk about all those today, but I will mention three trends in society that are affecting our children now. The COVID pandemic, stressors and stress, and I'm not sure if you can see the bottom one. I think my face might be occluding that, but discrepancies, disparities, and inequities in society. So I'll look at each of those and we'll consider implications for education and care. So issue one is the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's something that everyone who's attending, listening today, has been affected by. Children, of course, have been deeply affected as well. From a medical perspective, stress has been identified by doctors as a concern. And I'm going to spend some time on that when we look at another perspective. But also developmental issues are raised. So what is going on in children's lives now will affect their response to the pandemic. Are they suddenly not able to see their friends? For adolescents, that is a very difficult situation. For younger children, they may be more affected by things at home, although many would have friends and would have a difficult time not being able to see them rather suddenly. All right, I'm going to move on to the field of child development. So here are some of the results from research examined by scholars in child development. So two authors, Benner and Mystery, who've looked very carefully at the research to date, are finding that the COVID pandemic has disrupted all aspects of children's and adolescents' daily lives. And it's having some immediate effects and can be predicted to have some long-term effects as well. The research base is mainly American, but these scholars have looked at other countries as well. Because these effects are so global and far-reaching for children, it's hard to get our minds around it. And I think it may help to think about children of different ages, because their effects are different, again, depending on what they're developing and what they're going through. For infants and young children, we know this to be a time of very rapid brain growth and therefore a very vulnerable period, because the infants and young children are primed to move, to form relationships, and so forth. If they don't have those experiences, they've lost out, and it will need some additional support. From a medical perspective, infants and young children tend not to go in to their regular medical visits during the pandemic. And so they're not being screened for things like certain vision and hearing delays, and maybe some speech and language problems as well. Let me move on to older students. And for school-age students, we can see some immediate effects. And we also have learned from prior pandemics, for example, with SARS and H1N1. The big outcome and problem here seems to be with regard to stress and anxiety and social emotional difficulties. Early research from Chinese children and adolescents is finding some psychological problems. American adolescents are finding it very difficult not to be able to go to school and see their friends, although fortunately we're back in school now, but we're thinking about how they might have been affected and what they need to be successful now going back to school. So long-term effects, of course, it's not possible to tell yet what the long-term effects of the COVID pandemic are on children. But we know from other crises in our country that academic achievement of students who've been affected has been lower, and their employment and educational levels are lower. And what happened to our schools during the pandemic? Well, UNICEF reports that 144 countries closed their schools during the pandemic. And also children, in many cases, could not go to their childcare if they were not yet in school. So the closures are difficult. Fortunately, many of our schools are back, but who were likely to be affected? Children with disabilities who didn't have the support that the special education teacher, the specialist, children didn't get the snacks that they'd grown accustomed to. And really significantly, during a time when they were under stress, they didn't have access to counselors and school social workers. Families, of course, were also affected by the pandemic in the United States and in many places around the world. Parents worked remote. They worked from home on computers, while at the same time helping their children figure out online schooling for the first time. Some parents were considered what we've called essential workers, people in hospitals, working in hospitals, grocery stores, had to continue to work, yet didn't necessarily have somebody looking after their children. And of course, that was a challenge. Some lost their jobs, and many were under considerable stress. So I will give you a simple statistic. In the United States, since the pandemic, has been a fourfold increase in the number of people with anxiety problems. So that's a huge increase. And when these adults are at home, their children can easily absorb those stresses. And sadly, when there's a great deal of stress within the family, it can take a toll on relationships. And parents can be less engaged with their children, and also the rates of family violence, unfortunately, increase. So this slide shows children in poverty, also comes from UNICEF. And if you can look just where the graph on the far left-hand side, you won't see the numbers, but those are the 2019 rates of poverty. In the middle, you can see a huge jump. That's to 2020 in a single year. And then on the far right is 2021, the current year, a little bit of a recovery, but we're not nearly where we were. So many of these families, the children are struggling financially, as well as in the stresses in their lives. So having talked about all these concerns and challenges, I did want to emphasize, and again, going back to the authors Benner and Mystery, that children can do very well, even with significant challenges, if they have somebody who's their advocate, somebody who buffers the effects of the stress. And I think that's very important for educators who work with families, and those who prepare counselors and others to keep in mind. It really is an important source of hope. All right, so we've already gotten into our second issue. The first issue was the COVID pandemic. The second, and it's related, but it's worth pulling out and identifying separately, is the increasing stressors and stress in society that children are affected by. So I think we, as psychologists, have become very attentive to stress and the effects on children, in part from a famous study by Felitti, F-E-L-I-T-T-I, and his colleagues, that looked at what's called adverse childhood experiences, which are difficult, stressful experiences that can happen to children. So examples are physical abuse, emotional neglect, mental illness in a parent, substance abuse in a parent, the parents separating and divorces. And these kinds of, the number of these experiences that adults remember having as children are related to the health problems, first as children, then as adults. I'm sorry, my slides are not advancing.
Which slide do you want me to share right now? Professor Teresa?
Yes, is that Dr. Chittenden? If you can, my version is a tiny bit different. If you can find, let's see if it will tell me what slide it is.
ไม่ปิดไมค์ก่อนค่ะพี่ปิดไมค์พี่ปุ๋ยก่อน
Professor, do you need for our IT team to share slide for you?
Yes, I'm not sure
Okay.
why the slides are not advancing, but if you have it on the PDF and they would be able to swap to that, we could try that.
Yes. I think Dr. Salanya is with the team now, the IT
Okay.
team. Yes.
Okay.
อาจารย์ปุ๋ยค่ะ สงสัยจะต้องช่วย Professor ค่ะ
You know, and I think in the meantime, I will just talk about what is in the slide, and then I
Yes.
hope the audience can get access to those later.
Yes, they will. I think Dr. Saranya is planning to distribute the PowerPoint to the participants as well. Yeah, okay. She's here.
Dr. Jitinan, right now our teams share the slide for Professor Teresa, but I don't know what problem what the professor want.
The next
What I
slide.
know,
Okay, please, Professor, please. They can
Yes.
help you sharing slide, the next slide, if you like.
yes, if you can shift to your copy of the PDF of the document, what I'm having trouble is just
Okay, do you want to switch to the PDF document, right?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Okay, wait a minute, please.
just a minute. And you can talk, yeah.
All right.
Right.
So
And they will arrange to share slide for you. Mhm.
thank you.
It's
So-
slide 13, right?
I think that's right.
Is no. It's
Page
the
two.
slide. It's slide ACE, the adverse childhood experiences. This is
Yes.
on your screen, but you
Yes.
want the next one or this one?
The next
Start
one.
from this one
Yes, you can start from that.
or
one.
the next one. Okay. อาจารย์ปุ๋ยคะเอาอันนี้ค่ะ ACE. Okay. Okay. Now is the next one.
All right.
Right?
Thank you so much. So what we are finding with adults is looking back to their childhood, the more difficult experiences they've had, and many of these have to do with growing up in the family, affect everything from their substance use to depression, heart disease, cancer, and so forth. So there's good correlation between the number of those problems and the severity of the health problems in adulthood. Could we have the next slide, please? Could we have the next slide, please? Thank you. So children also seem to be affected by these adverse experiences, and we can see it in their learning challenges in learning and attention, behavior, early initiation of sexual activity, and teen pregnancy. Next slide, please. So how does that happen? How do those difficult child experiences end up having such a profound effect on adult health? The theory now, or one of the main theories, is that children who are undergoing, say, dealing with a parent with a substance abuse, or having one parent leave the home, or a combination mental illness in the parent, become very stressed, and they become, in a way, very always on alert to trouble in the environment, always scared, and their neurological system stays that way. And the negative effects are very significant on learning, even the size of certain parts of the brain, and seem to culminate in these long-term health problems in adulthood. Can I have the next slide, please? A related factor, and certainly creates stress for children, is any trauma that they might have experienced, such as being in a severe accident or a natural disaster or a rape. So immediately after these difficult events, the children tend to be under a lot of stress, and in a sense they can stay in this kind of mindset or emotion set, and there are long-term impacts for them as well. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a long list, and it comes from the National Association of School Psychologists. It contains things that adults can watch for that may indicate that the child is experiencing trauma. So you'll see things like withdrawing from friendships that used to be very important to the child, regressing in behavior. So a 4-year-old might start sucking his thumb again, wetting the bed. Those kinds of things suggest trauma. And I think for those of you who are working with families, can help educate families when you start hearing about some difficulties that the children might have. Next slide, please. So you will have this information on the PowerPoint, or excuse me, on the PDF of this file. There are several specific things that family educators and teachers can do to help parents, helping them to understand that when the children are having a hard time, when they might be having a trauma-related reaction, and helping them talk about their feelings so that the children can talk about their feelings and begin to process the difficult things that they've undergone. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, there were 2 slides there, but before I move on to the third and final issue, wanted to say that it's so important to children to have routines. And when the family's under stress, for example, a parent losing a job, or with the pandemic and all the losses that's meant for many children, the regular routines are important to bring back as soon as possible, whether that's reading the young child a goodnight story, or a mother going to the mall with a daughter or son, on a Saturday. So anyway, you'll see those slides. So the third issue has to do with disparities. And I'm going to focus on the United States, but we're not alone in our country with having inequities. We have a situation with resources being very unequally distributed. A lot of families are sort of in the middle and doing fine, and some have more than they need. But then there's in the United States, about 1 in 5 American children whose family are what the federal government considers in poverty. And that essentially means that 20% or so of the children's families are having a difficult time making ends meet and providing enough food and clothing and heating and so forth. So our country has a history of slavery, but we don't really recognize as strongly as we need to what the legacy of this has been in terms of discrimination and unfair resources. Next slide, please. And as a result, prejudice and discrimination exist, and children are affected by these. And in many cases, the teachers and other adults are not aware that prejudice is taking place in their classrooms. Let's see. In recent years, we've, especially with the Black Lives Matter, are paying more attention to it. Issues of race and racism are getting people's attention, but it's sometimes in a politically turmoil fashion. And so we have our work to do in this area, certainly. Oh, next slide. Next slide. All right, so thinking about implications of these inequities and disparities that children encounter, I think we all have our own list here. Probably one thing that I become more and more aware of is how to communicate that these problems exist, and to convince teachers and others that there is prejudice taking place in our classrooms. One of the really good success stories that we have is with early childhood educational interventions. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the program Head Start, but it was a federally funded program for young children, initially 3 to 5 years, and then later birth to 3. And there have been similar programs that have been very effective in meeting children's needs. They have strong values for the diversity of the families that they serve, and also strong values for parent education, for involvement. So it's a requirement for the preschool Head Start that parents need to volunteer a few hours. They need to be involved in some way. And I think that really is a success story that we can build on. Next slide, please. All right. So summing up, in our presentation, we looked at major trends in society and around the world that influence children. I took a very broad perspective, and we found that there are significant effects on their thinking, on their social emotional development, on their physical development with regard to some of the current trends in society. So we focused on COVID, the pandemic, stressors and stress, and inequities or disparities in society. There are many things that professionals can do to help children, to help families, and we talked about some of these. Others are on my slides. Next slide, please. And I want to thank you for your attention, and I've given you my email on this last slide in case you want to contact me. So thank you so much, and I will hand back.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Teresa McDavid. I clap for your presentation, and thank you so much for this very clear presentation about this topic, the importance of early childhood education in contemporary context. Let me brief in Thai for the Thai participant a little bit, and then we'll go on for the next session. We greatly appreciate your presentation from far away, the USA to Thailand. Thank you so much. Thank you.
สวัสดีค่ะ
ขออนุญาตสรุปนะคะนิดนึงนะคะสั้นๆว่า Professor ได้พูดถึงนะคะแนวโน้มในหัวข้อความสำคัญของการศึกษาปฐมวัยนะคะในบริบทของปัจจุบันนี้ค่ะซึ่งแนวโน้มการเปลี่ยนแปลงของสังคมเนี่ยมีอิทธิพลต่อเด็กในเด็กและเยาวชนนะคะใน3มิติค่ะจริงๆพูดถึง early childhood แต่ว่าด้านเด็กปฐมวัยแต่ว่า Professor เนี่ยได้พูดครอบคลุมไปถึงช่วงวัยเรียนด้วยนะคะจะไม่ถึงวัยรุ่นแต่ว่าพูดถึงช่วงวัยเรียนด้วยคือใน3มิติเนี่ยเป็นทั้งด้านการรู้คิด cognitive ด้านอารมณ์สังคม social emotional แล้วก็ด้านร่างกายด้วยนะคะซึ่งมีการเชื่อมโยงต่อกันนะในบริบทของชีวิตเด็กในบริบทเชิงนิเวศนะคะจริงๆแล้วเชื่อมโยงกับการเติบโตของเด็กที่สัมพันธ์ไปกับสิ่งแวดล้อมต่างๆนะคะจุดเปลี่ยนแล้วก็ความท้าทายที่มีผลต่อเด็กเนี่ยมันมีผลมากเลยค่ะทั้งประสบการณ์ส่วนตัวต้นทุนชีวิตของเด็กแล้วก็ประสบการณ์ความท้าทายที่เด็กต้องเผชิญในช่วงที่ผ่านมานะคะแนวโน้มสำคัญที่มีผลต่อเด็กเนี่ยมีทั้งการเปลี่ยนแปลงในเรื่องของโครงสร้างของครอบครัวโลกาภิวัตน์การเปลี่ยนแปลงของโลกในเรื่องของบรรยากาศนะคะในเรื่องของดิจิทัลในเรื่องของการย้ายถิ่นในเรื่องของแบบแผนการเปลี่ยนแปลงการจ้างงานแล้วก็สวัสดิการสังคมที่มันลดน้อยลงนะคะแล้ว Professor ก็พูดถึงแนวโน้มปัจจุบัน3เรื่องนะคะเรื่องแรกก็คือเรื่องของการแพร่ระบาดของโรคโควิด -19 เนี่ยนะคะซึ่งมีผลกระทบทั้งทันทีแล้วก็ทั้งต่อเนื่องระยะยาวในชีวิตของเด็กเรียกว่าทุกช่วงอายุนะคะทั้งเด็กทารกแล้วก็เด็กปฐมวัยหรือก่อนวัยเรียนนะคะแล้วก็ทั้งเด็กวัยเรียนด้วยแล้วผลกระทบนี้มันมีผลต่อความเครียดค่ะของเด็กนะคะแล้วก็มันมีผลต่อเนื่องกับผลกระทบในเชิงสมองในเชิงเรื่องของการเรียนรู้ในเรื่องของความสัมพันธ์นะคะของเด็กกับผู้คนต่างๆนะคะซึ่งตรงนี้เนี่ยมันเข้ามากระทบต่อการดำเนินชีวิตประจำวันของเด็กซึ่งเราจำเป็นต้องใส่ใจนะคะอันนี้ Professor ก็พูดถึงเรื่องของไอ้แนวโน้มเนี่ยในตัวเด็กเนี่ยซึ่งมันเกี่ยวโยงไปถึงเรื่องของโรงเรียนนะคะเหมือนตอนแรกที่เขาแบ่งปันสไลด์ที่เป็นเชิงนิเวศอะค่ะมีทั้งเรื่องของโรงเรียนที่เด็กเองก็ไม่ได้พบกับเพื่อนนะคะแม้กระทั่งไม่ได้ไปโรงเรียนไม่ได้พบเพื่อนไม่ได้รับบริการสุขภาพ โดยเฉพาะเด็กเล็กๆเนี่ยต้องมีการฉีดวัคซีนเนี่ยนะคะมันก็จะขาดตอนไปด้วยการแพร่ระบาดของโรคโควิด -19 เนี่ยทำให้เขาขาดตอนในเรื่องของการรับบริการทั้งการศึกษาทั้งเรื่องของสุขภาพทั้งสวัสดิการต่างๆรวมทั้งโรงเรียนเองก็ต้องมีการปิดนะคะการเรียนแต่ว่าสิ่งสำคัญเนี่ยปิดการเรียนแล้วก็ต้องปรับเปลี่ยนหลักสูตรนะคะแต่ผลกระทบเนี้ยมันยิ่งมากขึ้นสำหรับเด็กที่มาจากครอบครัวที่ยากจนนะคะครอบครัวที่ขาดโอกาสทางสังคมยิ่งส่งผลกระทบมากกว่านะคะแล้วสำหรับครอบครัวก็เช่นเดียวกันค่ะประสบปัญหาความเครียดการทำงานที่ต้องแบบเปลี่ยนจากการทำงานแบบมาทำที่ทำงานต้องเปลี่ยนเป็นการทำงานแบบทางไกลต้องใช้สื่อเทคโนโลยีมากขึ้นแล้วก็ได้สังเกตเห็นความรุนแรงในครอบครัวที่เพิ่มมากขึ้นด้วยนะคะอันนี้Professor ก็จบประเด็นแรกไปประเด็นที่2แนวโน้มก็คือเรื่องของความเครียดกับไอ้ตัวสร้างความเครียดนะคะ stress กับ stressor ซึ่งไอ้ตัวสร้างความเครียดเนี่ยก็จะมีพวกเรื่องของการใช้สารเสพติดนะคะการที่แบบได้มีหลากหลายเลยแล้วก็มีเรื่องของการทำร้ายกันมีความรุนแรงแล้วก็ส่งผลต่อปัญหาทางด้านจิตเวชการทำร้ายเด็กการละเลยเด็กนะคะการที่แบบเรียกว่ามันมีผลต่อทั้งสุขภาพกายแล้วก็สุขภาพจิตนะคะทั้ง physical แล้วก็ psychological ด้วยนะคะหรือว่าmental นะคะ health เพราะฉะนั้นความเครียดเนี่ยมันมีพิษอย่างมากเลยนะคะเขาบอกว่าความเครียดมันส่งผลที่เป็นพิษต่อการทำงานของสมองแล้วก็อาจจะส่งผลกระทบต่อโรคทางสมองตามมาด้วยนะคะหรือแม้กระทั่งการบาดเจ็บในเด็กนะคะ trauma ต่างๆเนี่ยมันมีผลกระทบมาจากอารมณ์จิตใจของเด็กซึ่งมีสัญญาณเตือนภัย Professor ให้ไว้หลายอันเลยนะคะอาจจะต้องเข้าไปดูในรายละเอียดเป็นสัญญาณเตือนภัยที่เราควรสังเกตนะคะตัวอย่างเช่นเด็กอาจจะแยกตัวอยู่ตัวเองคนเดียวหรือว่าทำร้ายตัวเองทำร้ายเพื่อนนะคะซึ่งอันเนี้ยเป็นสัญญาณซึ่งมีอีกหลายๆตัวนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยพ่อแม่และครูเนี่ยจำเป็นต้องให้การตระหนักรู้ถึงพฤติกรรมที่เป็นปัญหาเห็นร่องรอยเล็กน้อยก็ต้องเริ่มที่จะเข้าไปดูแลแล้วก็คลี่คลายสถานการณ์นั้นนะคะสุดท้าย Professor ก็พูดเรื่องความแนวโน้มความไม่เท่าเทียมกันเนี่ยนะคะซึ่งไม่ว่าจะเป็นเรื่องของทรัพยากรที่ครอบครัวมีหรือว่าเศรษฐกิจในครอบครัวหรือความแตกต่างทางเชื้อชาติกลุ่มชาติพันธุ์ของเราเนี่ยอาจจะยังไม่ชัดเจนเท่าที่อเมริกาแต่ว่ามันก็มีเรื่องของอาจจะฐานะทางเศรษฐกิจนะคะที่แตกต่างกันข้อเสนอแนะของ Professor ก็คือเราจะต้องตระหนักนะคะถึงขอบเขตของปัญหาชี้ให้ชัดว่ามันมีไอ้ความไม่เท่าเทียมหรือว่าการขาดการตระหนักรู้ขาดบางส่วนอาจจะได้รับการช่วยเหลือแต่ว่าส่วนที่ด้อยอาจจะไม่ได้รับการช่วยเหลือก็จำเป็นต้องมองให้ชัดนะคะแล้วก็มีเรื่องราวของสตอรี่ที่มันมีความสำเร็จ Head Start เนี่ยเป็นโปรแกรมช่วยนะคะครอบครัวที่มีฐานะยากจนเพื่อให้เด็กเนี่ยได้รับการดูแลนะคะอันนี้ซึ่งเป็นรัฐเป็นผู้ให้การสนับสนุนนะคะเป็น Head Start บ้านเราก็มีหลายโปรแกรมนะคะที่มีการให้การสนับสนุนครอบครัวที่ยากลำบากหรือยากจนนะคะแล้วก็ในเวลาเดียวกันเนี่ยต้องมีการเคารพในความหลากหลายของครอบครัวแล้วก็การให้พ่อแม่มามีส่วนร่วมนะคะในการมองมิติเชิงคุณค่ามากขึ้นนะคะแล้วก็ให้ระมัดระวังเรื่องของการทำงานโดยที่จะไม่มีการแบ่งแยกหรือว่าไม่เลือกปฏิบัตินะคะ discrimination เนี่ยไม่เลือกปฏิบัติแล้วในเวลาเดียวกันเนี่ยเราจำเป็นต้องสอนเด็กถึงทักษะชีวิตนะคะในแนวโน้มสถานการณ์ที่เปลี่ยนแปลงเนี่ยเด็กต้องได้รับการเรียนรู้เรื่องทักษะชีวิตนะคะสร้างทักษะชีวิตในตัวของเขาสุดท้ายในเรื่องข้อเสนอแนะในเรื่องของการที่จะไปดำเนินการต่อก็คือไอ้ความต้องการในเรื่องของอาหารแล้วก็การพักผ่อนของเด็กโดยเฉพาะเด็กที่อาจจะอยู่ในครอบครัวที่ยากลำบากเนี่ยเป็นเรื่องที่สำคัญนะคะก็สุดท้าย Professor ก็สรุปนะคะว่าเราต้องมองถึงแนวโน้มที่สำคัญเมเจอร์เลยไอ้จุกจิกไม่เป็นไรแต่เอาที่เรามองเห็นชัดๆเนี่ยนะคะในสังคมเนี่ยที่ทั้งของเราแล้วก็ทั่วโลกที่มันมีผลกระทบต่อเด็กนะคะเราจะเห็นว่าของบ้านเราเนี่ยเรื่องการศึกษาเนี่ยเห็นชัดเลยนะคะแล้วก็อีกอย่างหนึ่งก็คือจะต้องมีกรอบแนวคิดในเรื่องของพัฒนาการเด็กเนี่ยเชื่อมโยงนะคะกับกรอบในเรื่องของเชิงนิเวศนะคะของบรันเฟนเบรนเนอร์เนี่ยจะแปลว่าคงจะเป็นแบบนั้นนะคะแล้วก็ในเรื่องของไอ้ตัว ตัวสร้างความเครียดแล้วตัวความเครียดและความไม่เท่าเทียมในสังคมเนี่ยเป็นสิ่งที่ต้องเข้าไปมองเชิงลึกมากขึ้นนะคะแล้วสุดท้ายก็คือเราสามารถที่จะในฐานะที่เราเป็นนักวิชาชีพหรือว่าทำงานด้านนี้นะคะเราก็สามารถที่จะเหมือนกับเรียนรู้นะคะไอ้ความท้าทายต่างๆที่เด็กเจอแล้วเราเองก็อาจจะมีส่วนร่วมในการที่จะคลี่คลายสถานการณ์เหล่านี้ได้ด้วยนะคะค่ะก็น่าจะสรุปประมาณนี้เดี๋ยวคงส่งให้ดร.สรัญญานะคะ Professor I end up all the brief summary of your presentation and we will go on for the next presentation by Professor Yukiko Kudo. I'm sorry that I announce you Professor Doctor. I feel like look at your experiences. You are like Professor Doctor. Sorry about that. And now we have move on to the topic, the 100-year life, human resource development as the key to a society of healthy longevity. Yes, welcome, Professor, and please, you have 40 to 45 minutes for your presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your kind introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Yukiko Kudo. I would like to thank and congratulate the Thai Home Economics Association for organizing this important event. It's an honor and pleasure to speak to you today. Do I sound okay? My sound is clear? Okay, so let me share
Yes, Professor.
the slides.
Clear.
The title of my theme and my talk is the 100-year life, human resource development as the key to a society of healthy longevity. Longer lifespans and aging populations are now a common phenomenon throughout the world. Japan in particular, however, has the world's most rapidly aging population, one without precedent. As of 2020, the average life expectancy is 81 years for male and 87 years for female, and people aged 65 and over account for 28.8% of the total population, which far exceed that of younger population aged 1 to 14. After the remarkable demographic revolution in the second half of the 20th century, with a 30-year increase in average life expectancy, Japan has entered the era of 100-year life. For this reason, the way in which Japan's super-aging society continues to evolve are attracting attention from around the world. There are many issues involved in the elderly stage of life, such as pension, medical care, nursing care, etc. Adequately addressing these matters requires much planning, thought, and effort to our part. But while preparing for the closing stage of life, it is crucially important. But is it enough? The era of the 100-year of life that is opening up will usher a new kind of society that no one has experienced before. As we stand at the door of this new society, it is time for all of us to change our mindset so that we can thrive in a new environment to come. In short, no matter how old you are now, and you should start now to think about and prepare to live a long life. This is where the importance of human resource development comes in, for it is crucial to realize a rich and fulfilling 100-year life. With this basic idea in my mind, today I would like to discuss human resource development and the importance of education. Here, 3 keywords are of special importance: empowerment, well-being, and advocacy, which are the important values of home economics. The challenge is for each of us to become a party to the 100-year life, to have the desire to live the way we want to, and to create the kind of society we want to live in. Here are the 4 points I would like to discuss today. 1. Aging population and changing expectation for education. Number 2, life changes in Japanese society. Number 3, positive reaction to these societal changes. And number 4, human resource development as a key to society of healthy longevity through empowerment, well-being, and advocacy. Let me start with the first issue of the today, aging population and changing expectation for education. In order for all to thrive in this new era of the 100-year life, people will not only need to acquire new skills, but develop a new outlook on their lives. This is why education is becoming increasingly important. I will summarize the Science Council of Japan's recent statement on this matter. In order to realize a sustainable society of longevity, gerontological education should be provided to all citizens, starting from primary education and continue to all stages of life. 1. In elementary, junior high, and high school, cultivating students and understanding of and the ability to plan for a life of at least 90 years. Number 2, in higher education, thoroughly implement gerontology studies at the undergraduate and graduate levels. 3, provide a wide range of opportunities for adults and elderly to learn about gerontology and support life planning for and by them through the development of human resources. Across Japan, education is being promoted in accordance with the course of study, the official educational guidelines set by the government. The most recent course of study stress teaching students, quote, to respect all other people and see them as valuable, to confront and overcome social problems through cooperating with a diverse range of people, to develop rich and meaningful lives, and to be creators of a sustainable society, unquote. In other words, children are expected to develop a vision for the future and to grow up to be contributors to positive change. Such goals and values will naturally involve building thriving aging society. For instance, in Japan, in home economics education, now launching new text output from elementary school to high school, learning about gerontological issues. And now, then, what are the skills that we want people to acquire through these studies? In a society of increased longevity, how can we stay healthy, realize our full potential, and at every life stage, and fulfill our goal and aspiration? I think the answer can be summarized into 3 approaches. One approach is macro level. The first approach involves fostering in people the capacity to plan for. The challenge is at the macro level. As we continue to live longer, we must learn how to review individual life plans. We should start our life planning early, addressing family, work, and other human relationships, as well as career development and the pursuit of healthy lives. Next approach is at macro level. We need to re-examine both social system and infrastructure in order to determine how our society should respond to the growing demands of an aging population. The third, we need approach to integrate life of increasing longevity with the aging society. The first perspective involves fostering in people the capacity to plan for and put into practice from the perspective of today's aging individual a design for their own 100 years life. The question here is how can we plan and live the 100-year life? Of course, the 100-year life and the 75-year life would be quite different. Now we not only live longer ever before, but also we have to plan our own life. We used to have a standard life model where individuals start working around age 20, then would get married, have children, retire at age 60, and enjoy the few remaining decades of their lives. But now we no longer live in the era of the 75-year-old life. 75-year life. Now we may have 2 or more different careers and variety of life plans. We need to transform the value system and lifestyles of that earlier era so that we can support our new longer lives, helping us to stay healthy and achieve our full potential. The second approach involves helping people acquire ability to successfully manage an aging society, where they are able to reconsider social systems and infrastructure from both hardware and software perspective. The fundamental system in our society were established when the distribution of age group formed the shape of pyramid, with more young people than older ones. Now we live in a super-aged society where older people account for 1/3 of the total population. It is clear that existing social system will no longer function after this demographic transformation. Population aging has effect on many areas, posing interrelated and complex challenges. In order for each of us to be able to plan, we need to re-examine various aspects of infrastructure. They include the hard infrastructure such as building, houses, transportation, as well as the soft infrastructure such as educational system, employment system, pension system, medical care and welfare, etc. The third, we need a perspective which integrates time of increasing longevity with the aging society. We need to pursue the optimal balance between society and the individual. With this approach, instead of responding to just individual needs, relationships are built where people with diverse characteristics and background, they can empower each other. They are regarded as fully capable of playing various positive roles in families and communities while continuing to grow, learning, and develop throughout their lives. Within this educational process, it is crucial that the changes occurring in our lives be properly understood. Now, I would like to take a look at what kind of life changes have been taking place in the background of the 100 years of life. In this slide, I present 3 concrete issues that characterize Japan's emerging society. They are diversified lifestyles. Number 2, socialization and digitalization of life. And 3, differentiation of expertise in understanding life. The first phenomena I will mention is declining birth rate. Especially in Japan, demographic factors such as declining mortality and birth rate continue to have a major impact, shaping the societal context in which progress toward the 100 life is occurring. The decline in mortality rates is seen for each age group. However, one factor in particular that has led to the current high average of age of the population is the demographic decline in infant mortality rates, which means children under 1 year of age, from over 165 deaths per 1,000 in the 1920s to a world-leading rate of 1.9 today. Secondly, we find a marked shift in attitude toward marriage among young people. This change has been quite impactful and major factor in a significant decline of Japan's birth rate. This slide shows a unmarried rate by age group. As you can see, the percentage of unmarried people, both men and women, have been increasing steadily among all age groups. Among men under 30, almost 70 are unmarried, and for those who are under 40, 1 out of 3 stay unmarried. Also among women under 30, almost 60% are unmarried, and those who are under 40, 1 out of 4 stays unmarried. The next slide shows the percentage of unmarried person at 50 years old. Here again, the percentage for both men and women have been increasing. According to the latest census, at the age of 50, 1 out of 4 Japanese men and 1 out of 7 Japanese women are unmarried. Also, this slide shows the average number of children being had by couples. The number has decreasing from around 4 children in 1950s all the down to less than 2 children in 2015. There are many backgrounds around this issue, but because of the time, I will never talk about that. But we are struggling to break through this phenomena in Japan now. Secondly, we need to consider, this slide shows the change in marital status. For example, for women born in 1995, 26 years old in this year, the chance of her remaining unmarried throughout her life is 20.1%. We also find that the percentage of this cohort of women who are married with no children now stands at 15.5%. When these two rates are combined, the percentage, this age group of women who will never have children rises to 35.6%. Until now, Japanese society has been regarded as a, quote, society of universal marriage, unquote, and societal system has been constructed upon this premise. It is truly significant that this basic promise is not collapsing. The declining birth rate not only affects parents-child and sibling relationship, it is also impacting family relationship, creating a generation with few aunts, uncles, and cousins. Data reveals that for the current generation of young people in their 20s, their grandparents had an average 12 aunts and uncles, and their parents' generation have an average of 6 aunts and uncles, and they themselves have, on average, just 3.5 aunts and uncles. It goes without saying that young people need adult role models in their lives to grow up in a healthy manner. Previous generation had a various of role models around them, in addition to parents, also aunts and uncles and other relatives who could positively influence the journey into adulthood. Unfortunately, a key characteristics of modern life is that as young people struggle to find their way, there are not many adult role models they can directly interact with. It is thus necessary for education and home economics to help compensate for this significant loss. The second point I'd like to raise today is socialization and digitalization of our lives, intense interconnectivity through technology. Our vision for the future of Japanese society is Society 5.0. It seems Japan where advanced technology such as AI, artificial intelligence, big data, the IoT, Internet things, robots, etc., will become so sophisticated as to be incorporated into all the industry and social life and be able to meet people's individual needs. The digitalization of our daily lives in such areas as work arrangement, pregnancy and childbirth, housework, child-rearing, and nursing care will progress rapidly, fundamentally altering our society. These slides show the our remote work phenomena today. This is not from Japan, it's from New York Times, but there is because of the COVID-19, the remote work has spread in many ways. And maybe we can say, quote, remote work is comfortable. The lady on your right side is working in her bathroom, a toilet, doing her work. And the lady on your left hand is working in her bathroom with her child, and the child say hello to the online meeting, and this is our very common phenomena now. The socialization and digitalization, such a world will afford us convenience. Actually, it is very convenient and efficiency and comfort. Actually, we can have this meeting connected with the people in around the world. We can sit back and let AI do all the work. I, however, think we must strive not to lose that which makes us human and which we can find a deeper fulfillment. For example, making decisions in everyday life, such as what to wear and what to eat, is important not only for people's independence, but also for our dignity. And the uniquely human act of working with our hands to create and repair, or even the process of trial and error, will give us a deeper fulfillment. In a world where any item can be purchased and delivered, there is a danger that we will lose touch with these most essential aspects of ourselves. Finally, the third phenomena is the fragmentation of our understanding of our life. In today's society, our lives are not just supported by numerous specialists. These specialists are becoming increasingly specialized themselves. The current number of qualification system has blooming along the way. For example, in the field of care professionals, we have clinical psychologists, certified psychologists, certified counselors, just to name a few. In short, Japanese now rely on more than 20 types of such professionals. Also in schools, teachers, school social workers, school counselors, school assistants, educational counseling coordinators, school attendant support staff, and many other professionals are now stationed in school to ensure children's safety and well-being. But is this necessarily all the good? This slide shows the relationship between an ill person and the specialist. Depending on the type and extent of the patient's alignment, there are an incredible number of specialists who may be called upon to assist. All of these specialists will tell the patient the right thing to do from their own professional standpoint. But what will all this advice really amount to? There is no doubt that experts are usually correct in their own particular analysis, but unless the patient is able to integrate all of these opinions into a new health regimen, the definite benefit of all this advice will be limited. In fact, there is even a risk of harming the patient by overwhelming them with prescription and advice. Also, this phenomena is related to expanding the concept of independence. Professional now decides how to solve problem in this area. People tend to leave the know-how to professionals, but we are the one to decide what we would like to do and to become. People need some support to enhance these skills so that they can make their own decisions rather than leaving everything to the professionals. Now let me move to the third question of today. What kind of content should we include in education in order to cultivate individuals able to respond positively to the social change we are experiencing? First, there is a particular need for the conscious act of living life or life management. In our fast-changing and complex world, society provides us with multiple choices and expects us to make them at our own risk. In order to live a vibrant life as protagonist of society and protagonist of life, we need to manage our lives more consciously with greater awareness, fulfill life needs, realize the value of life, enrich life resources, and achieve life goals. All are active. In the 100-year life living and working on an age of longevity, Linda Glatton and Andrew Scott write that key to living a productive life in the 100-year era is intangible assets. Specifically, as you can see on this slide, 1, productivity assets, which help us increase work productivity and improve our income and career perspectives. The asset involves skills, knowledge, and values acquired through years of education and hands-on practice. They also include our colleagues with whom we create values in collaboration. Second, vitality assets, over that which provides us sound physical and mental health. These include a healthy lifestyle, a balanced life, low in stress, and friendship, that provides support and comfort. And the third, transformational assets, which reduce the uncertainty of transition in our modern lives with constant change. This includes knowledge about ourselves that form our identity, connection to diverse networks that help us see things from new perspectives, and a positive attitude toward new experience that break with existing pattern of behavior. There are many various assets which help us to develop, and we have to cultivate them. And in order to achieve these goals, it is crucial that everyone, at least each stage of life, is able to form an image of the life they desire. Paul Barthes, who is one of the leading lifespan development theorists, this diagram is based his selective optimization with compensation theory. In short, human development is a lifelong, multi-dimensional and varied process that involves growing in a variety of ways. We see a growing interest in lifelong development of people and fulfilling life throughout the life course, resulting in an increase in lifelong learning and social participation. There, we can effectively use the rich experience people have, where we can bring the positive meaning for different generations to live in harmony. For continuous human development, education is especially important. Education is the process of cultivating human ability and realizing human potential in a society variable direction. It is an act that differs from teaching or instructing, or which are much more one-directional. True education involves providing the tools through which individuals can grow, develop, and learn on their own throughout their entire lives. Finally, I would like to discuss three aspects of human resource development as a key to the society of healthy longevity. Finally, I would like to discuss three steps we would like to follow as we live out the 100-year life to effect changes that will help us realize productive lives going forward. Since home economics is the profession that achieves optimal and sustainable living for individuals, families, and communities through empowerment, well-being, and advocacy, it can make a significant contribution to better longevity society from the professional perspective. More specifically, empowerment refers to ongoing individual enhancement along life's journey, leading to greater autonomy and agency. The educational tasks here are to help students understand multiple perspectives and diverse way of thinking, to go beyond two choices paradigm. In this way, they can discover their full potential and gaining the ability to look at oneself objectively so that realistic goal may be discovered and pursued. The second one, well-being. Well-being is the ability to create a balanced and positive state of physical, mental, and social well-being through interaction with one's living environment. The educational goal here includes the acquisition of knowledge and skills needed to discover issues from multiple perspectives, such as life stages, family situation, family economy, housing style, and living environment. It also involving cultivating people's ability to collaborate with others around them. The third keyword is advocacy. Advocacy involves fostering individual awareness, not only as personal development, but as collective understanding of the many social community challenges we now face. Here, one of the key tasks for education is developing people's ability to seek out and obtain correct and useful information. They can then more effectively question the status quo, its values and policy choices, and find constructive way to improve it. Now, this is my final slide for today. In closing, I would like to talk about home economics can make a unique contribution to the era of the 100 years of life as a profession. Under the COVID-19 pandemic, discussions on how to build a new normal has begun, and society as a whole is rapidly reskilling or relearning. We need to examine this movement from the perspective of better our lives in totality and involve everyone in discussion and activities relate to these goals. In conclusion, I found myself coming back to the basic question: who are the core players to build the communities in the future? Where to succeed, all generations must work in union. From whichever angle we address this question, we found that education is crucial. In Japan, all girls and boys can receive home economics education from elementary through senior high school. Students learn about development issues throughout the different stages of life, come to understand the challenges of old life, interact with older people, and study social systems which support an aged society. This is an important first step, but as I hope I have demonstrated through this presentation today, we have much more to do in the years and decades ahead. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I'm concluding my presentation now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Yukiko Kudo. Very interesting. I wish I could stay until 100 years too. Yeah, very interesting. Yes, very interesting. And thank you so much. This is like a very new look of, living hope to be in a 100 year with values also and potential. Thank you so much. Let me brief in Thai for the Thai participants a little bit, and then I will welcome the president of Kasetsart University and will summarize a little bit. The president, please wait a little bit, and then we'll come to you. And thank you so much, Professor Yukiko Kudo. Yes, okay, you stay with us because we will have a photo together at the end. Okay, yes, okay. ในเรื่องของ Professor น่าสนใจจริงๆค่ะเป็นเรื่องของการมีชีวิตที่ยืนยาวถึง100 ปีนะคะโดยที่เป็นเรื่องของการจัดการทรัพยากรมนุษย์เนี่ยแหละเป็นกุญแจนะคะไปสู่สังคมของการมีชีวิตที่ยืนยาวอย่างมีสุขภาพดีด้วยนะคะไม่ใช่แค่อยู่ไปวันๆนะแต่อยู่อย่างมีสุขภาพดีนะคะก็คือ Professor พูด3ประเด็นค่ะประเด็นเรื่องของประชากรอยากขออนุญาตใช้ผู้สูงวัยนะคะเพราะว่าเวลาบอกผู้สูงอายุหลายท่านบอกให้เปลี่ยนเป็นผู้สูงวัยประชากรผู้สูงวัยแล้วก็ความคาดหวังที่เปลี่ยนไปใน สำหรับการจัดการศึกษานะคะอันนี้เป็นเรียกว่ากรณีศึกษาของญี่ปุ่นซึ่งญี่ปุ่นเนี่ยเขาให้ความสำคัญมากเลยกับยุคใหม่ของชีวิตที่ยืนยาวถึง100 ปีนะคะมันก็เลยเป็นความต้องการนะคะที่จะต้องมีทักษะใหม่ๆเพื่อให้ตอบรับนะคะสอดรับกับภาพลักษณ์ใหม่ของการดำเนินชีวิตที่สร้างความเข้าใจโดยมีการสร้างความเข้าใจเกี่ยวกับการวางแผนนะคะการมีชีวิตที่ยืนยาวเขาไม่ใช่แค่คิดแล้วก็ทำแต่เขาว่ามีการวางแผนอย่างเป็นระบบนะคะอย่างน้อยให้คนมีชีวิตได้ถึง90 ปีนะคะแล้วก็มีการให้ความสำคัญกับการจัดการศึกษาทุกระดับที่ทั้งในระดับโรงเรียนนะคะจนถึงระดับมหาวิทยาลัยแล้วก็มีการจัดการศึกษาในระดับบัณฑิตศึกษาเกี่ยวกับผู้สูงวัยนะคะซึ่งวิกิพีเดียเนี่ยเขาให้ชื่อว่าพฤษภาวิทยานะคะแต่จริงๆแล้วเป็นการศึกษาเกี่ยวกับผู้สูงวัยเขาไม่ได้จัดเพียงแค่ให้การศึกษาในมหาวิทยาลัยแต่เขาจัดเตรียมการมาตั้งแต่ในระดับโรงเรียนเลยนะคะแล้ว3แนวคิดที่นำไปสู่ยุคของชีวิต100 ปีเนี่ยค่ะก็คือเรื่องแรกก็คือเรื่องของการพัฒนาตลอดช่วงอายุนะคะซึ่งบ้านเราก็มีนโยบายนี้เหมือนกันการพัฒนาตลอดช่วงอายุ lifelong development นะคะในระดับบุคคลแล้วก็ระดับสังคมก็ให้มีการจัดการระบบทางสังคมที่สนับสนุนนะคะสังคมผู้สูงวัยแล้วประเด็นที่3ก็เป็นการผสมผสานนะคะมีการเชื่อมโยงกันระหว่างเรื่องของชีวิตส่วนบุคคลกับสภาพแวดล้อมนะคะมี3แนวคิดซึ่งอันนี้เป็นตัวที่ส่งเสริมสนับสนุนนะคะยุคของชีวิต100 ปีประเด็นที่2ที่เขาพูดถึงเนี่ยนะคะก็คือเรื่องของการเปลี่ยนแปลงชีวิตในสังคมของญี่ปุ่นนะคะซึ่งเขามี4ประเด็นที่ทำให้เขามามองเรื่องของชีวิต100 ปีนี่ก็คืออัตราการเกิดที่ลดลงนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นทรัพยากรมนุษย์ของเขาเนี่ยมีความต้องการเพิ่มขึ้นนะคะเพราะอัตราการเกิดลดลงบ้านเราก็เหมือนกันนะคะแล้วก็วิถีชีวิตที่หลากหลายมากขึ้นนะคะมีการผสมผสานเรื่องของมันมีเรื่องของการอบรมขัดเกลาทางสังคมแล้วก็การใช้สื่อดิจิทัลที่เข้ามาในชีวิตที่เปลี่ยนแปลงไปนะคะสุดท้ายก็เป็นเรื่องของการที่เราจะต้องแบบมีความเข้าใจชีวิตที่แตกต่างไปด้วยนะคะซึ่งทั้ง4ประเด็นนี้เป็นการเปลี่ยนแปลงในสังคมญี่ปุ่นนะคะซึ่งการนำสื่อดิจิทัลเข้ามาใช้ในชีวิตเนี่ยมันก็เลยทำให้ทุกมุมโลกเชื่อมโยงกันนะคะมีการส่งผ่านส่งต่อเรื่องของความรู้เรื่องของการเปลี่ยนแปลงต่างๆก็เลยโปรเฟสเซอร์ให้ความสำคัญว่าตอนนี้มันมีความสำคัญของการที่จะต้องทำงานแบบเฉพาะทางเฉพาะด้านมากขึ้นยกตัวอย่างที่เวลาที่มีผู้ป่วยเนี่ยก็ต้องมีสหวิชาชีพนะคะคนที่มีความรู้ความเชี่ยวชาญแต่ละด้านเนี่ยมาทำงานร่วมกันนะคะซึ่งอันนี้จะเห็นว่ามันมีความต้องการที่แตกต่างไปนะคะตอนนี้จะทำงานอะไรเนี่ยต้องบูรณาการมากขึ้นนะคะสุดท้ายก็เป็นประเด็นของการตอบสนองด้านบวกต่อการเปลี่ยนแปลงทางสังคมนะคะซึ่งตรงนี้เนี่ยเป็นความต้องการที่จะมีการปรับเปลี่ยนสำนึกรู้ค่ะไปสู่การกระทำที่จะทำให้ชีวิตเนี่ยมันอยู่ได้แล้วก็ต้องมีการจัดการชีวิตด้วยนะไม่ใช่เพียงแค่คิดแต่ว่าต้องทำด้วยนะคะแต่ว่าก็ต้องคิดด้านบวกแล้วก็มาสู่การกระทำคือมีการจัดการชีวิตซึ่งเข้ามาสอดรับกับการศึกษาทางคกรรมศาสตร์โดยตรงเลยนะคะแล้วก็ต้องมีการจัดการทรัพยากรนะคะในชีวิตรวมทั้งญี่ปุ่นเนี่ยเขาให้ความสำคัญกับเรื่องคุณค่าแห่งชีวิตนะคะ values ต้องมีการให้ความสำคัญกับคุณค่าไม่ได้มองในเชิง productivity อย่างเดียวแต่มอง values ด้วยไม่ได้มองเชิงแบบเป็นทรัพยากรมนุษย์เชิงผลิตภาพแต่มองในเชิงคุณค่าของการมีชีวิตของเขาด้วยเป็นการก็ต้องมีการเติมเต็มนะคะความต้องการทั้งในเรื่องของการสร้างต้นทุนชีวิตในด้านต่างๆนะทั้งด้านเศรษฐกิจสุขภาพความรู้หลากหลายเลยนะคะก็สรุปได้นะคะว่าโปรเฟสเซอร์เน้นว่าการศึกษาเนี่ยมันเป็นกระบวนการปลูกฝัง cultivate นะคะเป็นการบ่มเพาะหล่อหลอมปลูกฝังนะคะให้มนุษย์เนี่ยมีความสามารถแล้วก็ให้สามารถพัฒนาศักยภาพในเชิงคุณค่ามองเห็นถ้าบางคนบอก100 ปีไม่เอาหรอกฉันไม่เห็นอยากอยู่เลยแต่ว่าเขาอยากให้รู้ว่า100 ปีของชีวิตที่งดงามชีวิตที่มีสุขภาวะที่ดีเนี่ยมันมีความสำคัญแล้วก็ตรงกับศาสตร์ของคกรรมศาสตร์โดยตรงเลยนะคะที่จะส่งเสริมในเรื่องของการจัดการทรัพยากรมนุษย์แล้วก็ในมิติต่างๆทำงานร่วมกับ หลากหลายมิติที่เชื่อมโยงกันก็จะทำให้เธอบอกว่าสุดท้ายเชื่อว่าค่ากรรมศาสตร์ในฐานะวิชาชีพสามารถทำสิ่งนี้ให้เกิดขึ้นได้ นั่นก็คือยุคชีวิต100 ปีที่ยืนยาวและมีสุขภาวะที่ดีค่ะก็ขออนุญาตจบการสรุปตรงนี้นะคะแล้วก็ขออนุญาตได้กราบเรียนเชิญนะคะท่าน keynote speaker oh sorry I need to speak in English okay now we come into the last presentation by our honor keynote speaker the president of Kasetsart University I also graduate from Kasetsart University Dr. Jongrak Vachirindrat he's will talk on the topic lifelong learning for the development of human resources quality, a case study of Kasetsart University. I affirm that that's very true. I still use my knowledge from Kasetsart University until retirement. Welcome the president of Kasetsart University, Dr. Jongrak Vachirindrat. Please, thank you very much.
Good morning and สวัสดีครับ I'm Jongrak Vachirindrat, the president of Kasetsart University. Today, my talk is a lifelong learning for the development of the human resources quality, a case study of Kasetsart University. Unfortunately, I'm not an expert about the home economics or the experts on human development. My background is forestry. I expert in forest development or tree development. But I think in the forest development, we care about the regeneration process. That means we concern about the young tree, how to develop the young trees, and how to maintain the adult or the trees, and how to keep the old tree to be the shade of the young tree, to be the mother of the trees. That means we keep all state of the trees. So I think in the human resource development should be same. But I'm not sure because I'm not expert that I talk to you today. So anyhow, it is my great pleasure to be invited by the chair of the association to talk today. So I'm actually today I am not share you about the knowledge of the human resource development, but I would like to share how Kasetsart work for human development for the past and the present and the future. So maybe you can get the experience how Kasetsart work for this, something wrong, something right. And then I would like to share you today because my duty is a president. So not wrong, not right for me, but I must work and integrate how to work for the future. This is a topic today. So let me introduce the Kasetsart University. Because Kasetsart University, we have the motto is knowledge of the land. The meaning of the knowledge is the size of the land. Land is a Thai society, including land. I mean, including the area and including the wisdom, the people, the culture. Everything is come to the land. That means knowledge. The Kasetsart actually is agricultural science. But Kasetsart, Kaset, it also name knowledge of the land. Sart is the knowledge. Kaset is land. So Kasetsart is knowledge of the land. And the land is knowledge our country also. So it should be the two meaning. So we estimate already nearly 80 years old. And let's say the first agricultural university in Thailand, but now we change to comprehensive university because agriculture cannot serve our country. It must including economics, business, engineering, agro-industry together. That of course the basic is agriculture. So now we change really agriculture to the agriculture and related field become to comprehensive universities. And also we are one of the research universities support the budget by the government. So we proud to say we are one of the research universities. That means the innovation and research should be important for us to do. So learn and integrated research and innovation should be go together. Sorry. Also, I would like to proud to show that our university is quite a big university. So for the student, it's nearly 70,000 students, and within more than around 10,000 academic staff and supporting staff. So you can see so big amount of the student in Kasetsart University. I'm not sure for Sukhothai Thammathirat that how many students, but for the closed university, let's say we are the biggest university in Thailand. That's why, because of Kasetsart, it seems to be the country of the country, because our country is also based on the agricultural countries. So agricultural is the country of our country. Therefore, Kasetsart is very important. So we have many campus and we have many students. So we would like to open the opportunity for students who would like to learn from Kasetsart University. So we open the many campus, cover all of Thailand, and also we have many stations. Is nearly 30 stations located at the all area of Thailand. So I would like to show you. This is for the campus. We have, let's say, 5 campus already from Bangkok, Suphanburi, Nakhon Pathom, Sriracha, and Saklanakhon. Not just only the southern part we have no, but anyhow, we have a station cover all the area of Thailand. From the north, like a Chiang Mai province, Lampang province, Phetchabun, Nakhon Ratchasima, Sriracha, Inchonburi, Trat province, Saraburi, Lopburi, Prachuap Khiri Khan, Samut Songkhram, and Ranong, and Phang Nga. That means many stations. Why we have many stations? Of course, because we are the agricultural university. That means we would like to know this natural resource and agricultural resource of Thailand, including how to research for each region. And also, we would like to transfer all our knowledge to the people, to Thai society. Should be get the knowledge from Kasetsart University. Should get the knowledge from knowledge of the land. Then I think our knowledge can improve their life, their quality life, and also increase the income for them to survive and to sustain and to secure their life. I would like to talk about the lifelong learning in Kasetsart universities. Of course, I show you just only the number of the students in higher education, but actually we have not just only the students from higher education. We have the formal education, like the early childhood education, primary education, secondary education, higher education. Of course, I already talked. And also we have non-degree program. I would like to say later. For the early childhood education and primary education, secondary. Of course, we would like to say that is a laboratory form of Kasetsart University, but because of it's very famous, for the primary education and secondary, let's say more than 10,000 students join this program for a year. So for the non-degree program, the total number of the Thai people join non-degree program, including the occupation and also for some short course training, is more than 100,000 Thai join this non-degree program in Kasetsart University a year. I would like to talk the details about the Child Care and Development Center of Kasetsart University. There are two objectives. One would like to teach, to take care the young children, and the second is would like to be the laboratory for our professor and our students from the Department of the Home Economics. So it's a bit from 1997 under the Faculty of Agriculture Development, Department of Home Economics, and to care and development 0 to 3 years old children of the Kasetsart staff and the general public, and develop the children health, intelligence, emotion, and social skill with the goal of achieve the quality of life according to the sufficiency economy philosophies. And the positive and nurturing environment rich in natural and open-end resources. This is a detail from the Child Care and Development Center. Then the second is Kasetsart Home Economics Kindergarten School. This is established also 1997 under the Faculty of Agriculture, Department of Home Economics. Oh, sorry. The children age is 2.5 years old to 5.5 years old. And student, the technique is student center approach, focus on 4 area development: physical, language, and communication, and cognitive and social. Emphasize moral and ethics. This is the top the objective of Kasetsart Home Economic Kindergarten School. Then this is a very famous university, very famous school. Let's say it's one of the top ranking of Thailand, Kasetsart University Laboratory School Center for Education, Research and Development. This is also the objective would like to promote, to teach the student for new skill, and also to teach the student from the Faculty of Education how to teach the young student. So the objective develop the global Thai citizen with a strong ethic and academic excellence. The second is innovative curriculum. The fourth is flourish in the Thai culture and environment. So up to now, the student of we call the Sathit Kaset is more than 10,000. We opened this school in Bangkhen campus and Chonburi, and also in Kamphaeng San campus. The total of students is more than 10,000 students, so it's quite big amount of the student for Sati Kaset because this is a very famous school in Thailand. Then I would like to talk about the campus of Kasetsart University for the higher education. One is Bang Khen campus, is the main campus. There the faculty is around 15 faculty, 2 college, 5 academic supporting. So it's quite big and very famous university in Thailand also. The second is Kamphaeng San campus. This is a very famous campus. Let's say agricultural campus. There are very big area, nearly 2,000 hectares. This is area of Kamphaeng San campus and very famous. I just visit Kamphaeng San campus yesterday. It's very, very beautiful. I'd like to invite all of you to visit Kamphaeng San. You will see the scenery and the tourism spot inside the universities. And there are many activities. This is Chalerm Paket Sakon Nakhon province campus is located in northeastern of Thailand. Also very nice, very beautiful campus and tourism spot of Sakon Nakhon province. We try to transfer the knowledge of the sufficiency economy or the late king philosophy. Would like to transfer this knowledge to the people and to the young student. This is also the Siracha campus. It's located in the eastern sea coast of Thailand. Focus on expanding educational opportunity that promote economics improvement and the development of the human resource within the kingdom eastern region, located in Siracha, Chonburi. And the last is quite small, but we try to use as a model for non-degree program for Thai society, especially for workforce generation and the aging society. This is a Suphanburi campus establishment project. It's located in Bang Prama, Suphanburi. Then I would like to show you the informal education. This is a very good topic for Kasetsart universities. We set up the KU non-degree program at School of Integrated Science. This is a new faculty or new college or new school. So we call Integrated Science, is SIS. This is the lifelong learning and work integrated learning in order to reskill, upskill, and getting new skill. So in the picture, you can see the many workforce generation come to learn and got the degree, non-degree. For 1 degree, it's 3 months they learn by hybrid. I mean, some activity can learn in the online and some for practice, they come to learn together for laboratory and practicing learning together and exhibit the project-based learning inside. So this, so I show you the one that they're proud to get the degree from Kasetsart University. Some would like to wear the Kasetsart suit that with the next type of Kasetsart University. Under the School of Integrated Science, this is I would like to share the experience. So during my term, I try to use all of the faculty of Kasetsart University in the same organization. So I set up the School of Integrated Science. and then integrate the knowledge of the land, including Thai king philosophy. So the main idea for integrated science, including 3 parts. One is knowledge of the international level. I mean, the knowledge of science. The second is knowledge of the local wisdom. Of course, we know Thai society has a knowledge of the wisdom, so we learn from the knowledge of the wisdom. And that's the third is knowledge of our king. You know, our king, the late king, set up the project. It's more than 4,000 project, and then we can learn from him how to integrate the knowledge together and work for improve the quality life and income. And then the second for the School of Integrated Science is explore the alternative living solution with the change of the dynamic world. So they try to have some product-based learning. Every student must work for product and work for project. So I show you the example. We have more than 50 curriculum already. I mean the module. I show you for the example for the module, like a Kasetsart, the smart agriculture, the forest business, and young entrepreneur for wood industry, and also the sustainable development. And we have some is also some modules try to teach them about how to take care the aging society and how to take care the old age people. The second, I would like to show you about the Office of Computer Service in Kasetsart University. They also not just only serve the IT knowledge to graduates, student and undergraduate and university staff, but also we try to train the general public. So many module and many curriculum related to how to survive with the digital literacies and how to increase the digital skill, both up and de-skill. The third is Institute of Food Research and Product Development. This is also one of the very famous institute for develop the research and food. So not just only the innovation that they produce, they train the people because of Thai would like to be the kitchen of the world. So many cooker, many chef come to learn, come to train in this institute and got the degree, and then they can. And then they can open the restaurant in the country and in in Europe country, also in America also. Then we have the Extension and Training Office. This is a very famous office more than 50 years ago. So the short course and the training course for vocational course, I would like to show you some is homemade ice cream, mushroom farming, basic drawing. This is for example to be the cost of this office. We have those in Bangkok campus. Also some is cost for technology, like a time management, how to write an official document, Microsoft Excel for workplace, how to be the professional MC, something like that. This is a cost, very short course for the new generation and for the workforce. This is the for Kamphaeng San campus. They focus in agriculture, food technology, and self-development. So there are many courses like biotech development. Also is so some is like an agricultural entrepreneur was trained in this office. Then for the English and for the Chinese, they learn from the language center of Kasetsart University. You can see. So I will go quickly. Sorry. This is also the English skill, Chinese skill. There are many courses, not just only Chinese. There are Korean language. Some is French, is German language also learn from this center. Then the last is Office of Academic Service. So the duty of the academic service would like to coordinate for academic service and intellectual property support with public sectors, and then create the innovative product to marketplace using business incubation process. We try to establish the business incubation center here and deliver academic knowledge to commercialization and society. This is the duty for academic service. Let's say we would like to be the entrepreneurial universities. Also, we have some seminar together to share our knowledge to the public on Facebook, on TV Live, non-C Live, and also we have the radio by ourselves. We call it KU radio. We can broadcast our knowledge to all people in Thailand, also outside Thailand. This is the new one. Is we try to be transfer our knowledge to this sub-district. We call the Tambon. U2T, we call the KU2T. Would like to extend learning space of agricultural communities in biochemical practice. I show you some in Sukhothai province. We try to improve quality and agricultural product and create a agro-tourism business plan and in new normal era. We do like this for this year. 140 tambon was under us. This also I would like to show you about tambon in Eastern Thailand, build up the commodity product and increase distribution channels, extend the creative economics, enhance curriculum economics. The last is Office of Academic Service also. So I think this is, I try to talk you about the activity. Finally, I would like to share you. So we would like to set the KU marketplace in Kasetsart University and change the platform from the marketplace and change it for learning, for innovation, for research, and for transfer the knowledge to the people. We set up the KU marketplace in Thailand. I think Kasetsart University is one of the universities that changed from the university in higher education to the learning center for all generation of Thai society and for the global society. So this is I would like to share you how Kasetsart do it for the past and the future and the present and the future. Thank you very much for audience. Thank you.
Wow, I must say that Kasetsart University has expanded so much, and I learned a lot more at present that the president share with us is so amazing about lifelong learning at Kasetsart University. I think it's very beneficial to our society and the country. So thank you so much, Dr. Chongrak Vacharinrat, the president of Kasetsart University, for his devoted time, administrative time to come and share with us how Kasetsart University serves society and the country, and especially for people at all levels, from both in system, in formal and informal education. So thank you very much. Now I like to share in Thai from what Dr. Chongrak has shared for just a few minutes, and then we'll come to the last session. หัวข้อนะคะของท่านอธิการบดีค่ะเป็นเรื่องของการเรียนรู้หรือจะเป็นการศึกษาก็ได้นะคะเป็นการเรียนรู้ตลอดชีวิตเพื่อการพัฒนาคุณภาพทรัพยากรมนุษย์กรณีศึกษาของมหาวิทยาลัยเกษตรศาสตร์ค่ะเป็นมหาวิทยาลัยที่ก่อตั้งมาถึง78ปีแล้วนะคะเกษตรศาสตร์เนี่ยที่ฉันต้องขอบอกว่าเพิ่งเข้าใจเมื่อก่อนนี้เข้าใจว่าเป็นศาสตร์ด้านการเกษตรค่ะแต่พอบอกว่าเป็นศาสตร์แห่งแผ่นดินเนี่ยมันรู้สึกแบบแบบยิ่งใหญ่มากเลยความหมายก็ไม่ได้เพียงแค่เป็นแผ่นดินในลักษณะที่เป็นกายภาพนะคะแต่มันรวมไปถึง wisdom คือปัญญาของการแบบรอบรู้ไม่ใช่รอบรู้แบบเอาประโยชน์แต่เป็นการปัญญาที่รอบรู้แบบให้ประโยชน์นะคะก็เป็นมหาวิทยาลัยที่แรกเริ่มเป็นมหาวิทยาลัยที่เน้นการจัดการศึกษาด้านการเกษตรค่ะเป็นมหาวิทยาลัยที่จัดว่าเป็นมหาวิทยาลัยในเชิงวิจัยนะคะของประเทศเพราะว่าจะเห็นที่ท่านได้กรุณาแบ่งปันมาเนี่ยมากมายเลยนะคะในศูนย์วิจัยของมหาวิทยาลัยปัจจุบันก็มีนักศึกษาระดับปริญญาตรีโทเอก 68,099 คนเยอะมากนะคะแล้วก็คณาจารย์และบุคลากรรวมกันเนี่ย 9,870 นะคะวิทยาเขตสมัยที่ดิฉันเรียนหนังสือ KU 36 ค่ะมีแค่2แห่งเท่านั้นเองแล้วก็เพิ่งแรกเริ่มของวิทยาเขตกำแพงแสนแต่บัดนี้เนี่ยมีวิทยาเขตถึง4แห่งแล้วก็17ศูนย์วิจัยนะคะสถานีวิจัยทั่วประเทศค่ะน่าชื่นชมมากนะคะแล้วก็ในการจัดการศึกษาหรือการเรียนรู้ตลอดชีวิตเนี้ยมหาวิทยาลัยเกษตรศาสตร์ได้มีการจัดการศึกษาทั้งในระบบการศึกษาในระบบนะคะซึ่งให้ความสำคัญกับช่วงชีวิตนะคะทั้งในระดับปฐมวัยศึกษาระดับประถมศึกษาระดับมัธยมศึกษาแล้วก็ระดับอุดมศึกษาที่มีการประสานเรียกว่าเป็นปริญญานะคะปริญญาในระดับนั้นทั้งระดับปริญญาตรีปริญญาโทแล้วก็ปริญญาเอกด้วยนะคะสำหรับการศึกษานอกระบบอันนี้รู้สึกว่ามสท.มีคู่แข่งมากเลยนะคะมหาวิทยาลัยสุโขทัยธรรมาธิราชที่ฉันเคยสังกัดค่ะการศึกษานอกระบบนี่ก็แบบว่ากว้างขวางแล้วก็เป็นอะไรที่ได้รับใช้สังคมมากมายนะคะโดยเฉพาะเรื่องของ SIS เนี่ยค่ะที่เป็นเรื่องของการบูรณาการผสมผสานนะคะศาสตร์แห่งแผ่นดินนะคะน่าจะตามแนวพระบาทสมเด็จพระเจ้าอยู่หัวรัชกาลที่9นะคะเป็นหลักสูตรที่มีความหลากหลายก็โชคดีได้รับเชิญมาสอนเป็นครั้งคราวด้วยนะคะแล้วก็ในเรื่องของการให้บริการต่างๆเนี่ยมันกว้างขวางมากเลยไม่ว่าจะเป็นศูนย์ดูแลและพัฒนาเด็กนะคะที่อยู่กับสาขาวิชาคหกรรมศาสตร์นะคะแล้วก็โรงเรียนอนุบาลคหกรรมศาสตร์โดยปฏิบัติการที่ทั้งในเรื่องของการวิจัยนะคะแล้วก็ในการที่แบบว่าเป็นเหมือนห้องทดลองด้วยแล้วก็วิจัยเด็กๆเนี่ยเห็นเข้ามาเนี่ยเด็กๆยิ้มเลยนะคะเพราะว่าจะมีของเล่นอะไรหรือว่ามีการเรียนรู้แบบใหม่นะคะแล้วก็มีทั้งในเรื่องของสถาบันวิจัยอาหารและพัฒนาผลิตภัณฑ์สำนักส่งเสริมฝึกอาชีพนะคะวิชาชีพต่างๆมีศูนย์ภาษา ให้บริการสอนภาษาเนี่ยที่น่าทึ่งคือให้กับเด็กด้วยนะคะเด็กๆก็สามารถได้เรียนรู้เรื่องราวเหล่านี้แล้วก็บริการวิชาการนะคะให้บริการเป็นที่ปรึกษานะคะกับวิชาการในด้านต่างๆในแขนงต่างๆซึ่งเรียกว่าหลากหลายมากเลยนะคะน่าชื่นชมอย่างยิ่งค่ะดิฉันอยากจะกลับมาเรียนใหม่นะคะท่านอธิการบดี เพราะรู้สึกว่ามันแบบกว้างขวางไปกว่าสมัยก่อนมากมายเยอะแยะแล้วก็ต้องขอบพระคุณสำหรับการศึกษาตลอดชีวิตหรือการเรียนรู้ตลอดชีวิตที่ทำให้เราได้พัฒนาปัญญานะคะที่เราจะได้ให้คุณประโยชน์กับผู้คนได้ทั้งประเทศนะคะก็ขออนุญาตที่จะนำทุกท่านนะคะเข้าไปสู่ช่วงสุดท้ายของเว็บวินาในวันนี้นะคะ Let me take everyone all the participants internationally and domestically to the final session. We come to the closing speech by Dr. Saranya Pheuekphong now, and let me introduce her a little bit for her background. She's not only currently the president of Thai Home Economics Association and executive committee member of for Southeast Zone of the Arahe, which is for Asia. But her background so interesting. She's graduated her PhD doctoral degree from Kasetsart University in the field of textile development. She also currently head Department of Home Economics, Faculty of Agriculture, Kasetsart University. Please, Dr. Saranya, for the closing speech, one more time, please. เปิดเปลี่ยน Now,
Okay, thank you very
come to
much.
the closing ceremony or the closing speech by our president, Thai Home Economics Association. Is a very interesting webinar. Please, for this session.
Thank you very much. I strongly believe that everyone has learned and understood the importance and concepts of human resources development and also realizes that the work of home economists is highly crucial. We all can proudly say that home economists play a very important role in the development of human resources development for all ages to have good quality. And this, of course, has an effect on the security and sustainability of the world. Whether how rapid the world change has changed, the home economists who understand those changes can always handle the changing situation and manage human resources to have qualifications that can deal with all the changes of the world. I also hope that this webinar has initiated the strong network and cooperation among Thai home economists and international home economists, so we all can produce good and productive work in the future. On behalf of the Thai Home Economics Association, under the royal patronage of Her Majesty the Queen, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all three keynote speakers for giving us such insightful, informative, and interesting talks. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Teresa McDavid. Thank you very much, Professor Yukiko Kudo. And thank you very much, Dr. Jongrak Wachirinrat, for the talk and all support that you give to us. And I also would like to say thank you to our moderator, Associate Professor Dr. Jitinan Deshakuk, for managing the event today. This webinar was successfully organized with the great cooperation of 5 institutes that provide the teaching and learning in the field of home economics. Rajamankara University of Technology, Pระนคร Rajamankara University of Technology, Tanyaburi, สวนดุสิต University, รามคำแหง University, and Kasetsart University. And thank to the Faculty of Agriculture, Kasetsart University, who was responsible for the information technology system used in today's event. Thank you very much for all the cooperation that you all provide so the webinar today can run smoothly with no obstacles. Once again, on behalf of the Thai Home Economics Association, under the royal patronage of Her Majesty the Queen, I would like to express my sincere thanks to all the cooperation from every party involved. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the participants who helped make this webinar a success. We look forward to your cooperation in attending our webinars and seminars in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saranya Phượng. It's very impressive webinar. And as you said, it's the first time, but it's very well organized. And I would like now for everyone, all the participants, open their camera or video so we can take a group photo, which now we have about 300 participants. So we will try our best to have group photo for everyone internationally and also in Thailand, from Thai participants and also international participants. And also all the speakers, please turn on your video. Dr. Teresa McDavid. Yeah, please turn on. And we have time, so everyone, please turn on your video so we can have a group photo. Okay, now our speakers here. So everyone, please show your face so you get a group photo all together. Yes. And when we're ready, so the IT team can take photo. We have like a few minutes now. Some people. Okay, we count down here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll take group photo. And okay, it's ready now. Group photo. Hang on, because we have so many pages of participants. Okay, it's done. Thank you very much, everyone. Greatly appreciate for all your cooperation.
Thank you.
And don't leave now. We still have
Congratulations.
Announcement. We have a questionnaire for all participants, both international and Thai participants, which please fill in all the questionnaires, and that will be Google form. In Google form, very easy to complete the questionnaire. So please, we scan the QR code for the questionnaire, or you can get into
หน้าจอได้เลยค่ะ
Facebook of Thai Home Economics Association, the Facebook that also. Okay, now we have the QR code. Please scan the QR code and fill up the satisfaction questionnaire of the webinar. So that would help us to, improve, or we can continue our webinar in the future. Please, everyone, you need to fill up this in order to get the certificate of attendance for this webinar also. And we will open you to fill up the form until 12:45 or a quarter to 1, and then we'll close up the system. So you better hurry to fill in, fill up the form and complete the form before a quarter to 1. The last announcement is for your certificate of attendance on this webinar, you need to check for your name and your first name and surname correctly. Check the spelling for your name and surname, your first name and surname, and also your email. Make sure that you get the email address correctly. Otherwise, the certificate cannot be reached to you. So check correctly, make sure, check carefully for your name and your email address. And then a certificate will be sent to you by the Thai Home Economics Association. So you got everything, everyone? And I'm sorry that I forgot for the questions, but if you have any questions for all the 3 keynote speakers, you can also send it to the website of the Thai Home Economics Association, or you can write on the Facebook of the association as well, and then will answer or maybe connect to the speakers for the answers. Sorry about that session for Q&A, question and answer, because we know that the time is running short. But if in case you still have questions, we are inviting you to submit that questions, and then we'll get the answer for you. Or maybe now we still have time a little bit. If you have any questions, you can post your question, because our speakers still here. But if you maybe get some ideas about the question, you can also send it later.
Can I ask question?
Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Dr. Albert Rosada.
Yes,
Have,
yes,
yes.
from the
I
Philippines.
saw it.
From the Philippines.
I cannot hear you.
I am from the Philippines.
Oh, the Philippines.
Yes, I just want to ask if the president of Kasetsart University, he say that you have faculty of agriculture and the lifelong learning. I just want to ask if is lifelong learning also home economics?
Home economics is in, so I think the president, maybe Dr. Saranya can answer that questions. Dr. Saranya, where is she? Because home economics is in the faculty of Kaset, agriculture, sorry, is in the faculty of agriculture. Actually,
Yes.
home economics. This is the first at this university. It is the first curriculum in home economics in this university. It's the first one in the country in Thailand. Yeah.
Yes, yes, but you said that the university, the Kasetsart University, is established in 1943. In 1943, what is the title of the subject? Is it already home economics, or
Yes.
you change it to lifelong learning?
It doesn't say lifelong learning during that time. It is the approach. I think now the approach of the country tends to be lifelong education for all university, depending on their capacity.
So you are still using home economics right now.
Yes, same name since the beginning. Right.
Since 1943, you use home economics. You did not change it, like, because right now in the United States we have the family and consumer sciences.
That's right.
Because we are here in the Philippines, we are revising our curriculum and we are changing home economics to family and consumer sciences.
That's
In as
right.
much as we are a neighboring country here in the Asian region, I want to ask if you never changed home economics to other name ever
Yes.
since.
No,
Oh.
for Kasetsart University, they never changed name of home economics. But my university, Sukhothai Thammathirat Open University, we change from home economics to human ecology.
Okay,
We
so
change,
there are schools or there are universities there in Thailand that changed the name and some
Yeah.
did not. Okay.
Yes.
In your university, when did you started changing the name of home economics?
Okay. 19, can't remember. About 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I can tell that because during that time I was the dean. We changed
Yes.
according to I think according to Malaysian also change name. So we look at like in Asia that Philippines also change name, and Malaysian in home economics also change, and
We
according to yes.
We are only planning to change now because I am invited as a consultant because I am the vice president of Arahe for administration.
I
So
see.
the Department of Education here in the Philippines invited me to be one of the consultants as the vice president for administration of Arahe. That is why I am trying to see if the neighboring country in the Asian region has changed the name because we have plan of changing it. So I want to ask other countries in the Asian region.
Yes. Oh,
So
that's
there
why
are so
your
there are
face
some
look familiar.
yeah, I attend Arahe convention and IFHE Congress. I guess I have seen you there. Yes. Yes, so that is why I want to ask the participants if you can help me out if there are
Okay.
changes.
Yes. Maybe you can do a survey for Asian countries that offer home economics curriculum and see the change in this field. That'd be great. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry that I look for maybe Dr. Saranya's take the president, maybe.
What about Dr. Teresa McDavid? What can you say about in your country?
I think we've lost something by
Yes.
not by moving from home economics to family and consumer studies and so forth. So there seems to be a movement to make the study of lifelong learning more academic.
Yes.
And the home economics origins have a lovely, helpful, practical, pedagogical side to it. So it's an
see.
interesting historical trend. And I can see some advantages to the new, more academic fields, but there's something lost with that.
Yes, I agree with Dr. Teresa in terms of there is benefit also some rules like for our university we have more males exactly in the field. I mean in this area, but also when we have different names, the unity is like lose the unity in a sense of different name.
Right,
Right.
Yeah, but based on what I have read, the American Association of Home Economics have changed their name to American Association of Family and Consumer Sciences. Is that right, Dr. Teresa?
I believe you're right. Yeah. But I think there still are departments that identify as home economics within those new departments.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any more questions? You're so kind, Dr. Teresa. Help me out. Yes. Okay. Now I think it's time. We have like seven more minutes. If anybody still would like to share anything or their insight about this webinar, that'd be great. Yeah. It's so nice to see, everyone's face that we familiar when we go to the conference, the Arahe and also the IFI conference, in the past before COVID. Okay, now Dr. Saranya's here. Okay. So would you have any announcement or anything, Dr. Saranya?
อาจารย์แมวเมื่อกี้ปุ๋ยไม่ได้ฟังอะไรเลยค่ะบังเอิญอธิการบดีเรียกไปคุยต้องยังไงคะ
we know that, but now is no more question. We have some questions about name change for home economics to different names in Thailand.
Okay. For Thailand, we didn't change any name about home economics. We still use the name of the name home economics, and we think that the thing that we should change is how we can empower the home economists between the country and around the world. If we work together, I think the stronger of the home economics will be created. So in Thailand, we still use home economics.
Some university
I think today is a good start for Thai home economists to work together to the foreigner friend or the partner around the world, including United States and Asia and Europe. If we can work together, I think when I work so hard in my country, no one interested me. But if we work together, I think maybe more some more interested our work.
Yes.
I think like that. So it is a way to empowerment, and it is good to start like this. So I set up this international webinar and try to be international webinar like you. I try to ask you in the WhatsApp and in the web page like that.
Actually, I like to, thumbs up for Dr. Saranya. She's very energetic and very professional for this webinar. Yes. So, it's like one family when we come together. We have so much, to talk to, and it can be on and on. But I wish that everyone feel that we need to have more webinars so we can at least, contact in maybe like in a distance, but our relationship still the same.
Yes, and the thing that I think we should develop is about the young or junior home economists in English ability. If the home economists have higher English ability, we can work together around the world.
I guess we can work, we can conduct a seminar or webinar on English proficiency. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah. So that, the Filipinos are known in expressing themselves in English. So if there's anything that the Philippine Home Economics Association can help the Thailander there, so there will be no problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I think let me ask Dr. Saranya to come to the closing time to closing once again for everyone. Yes. So maybe she can give us some blessing or good wishes for our next webinar or whatever. Yes.
And today I would like to thank you very, very much to Professor Teresa. It is very, very late night for you to go to sleep.
Yes.
Sawadika,
Great
thank
night.
you.
Oh, you're very great women.
Good example.
ค่ะ. Thank you, Professor Yukiko, very much for a very, very interesting presentation. Yeah.
Thank you so
You stay
much.
until 100 years.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Good
I will
night.
try. I will try to stay 100 years.
Okay,
go.
thank you very much. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, we're closing.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
ดีมากเลย